What is the variation around the mean? And does this matter? We will always be at the mercy of the sample. We have developed ways to capture the true sample mean within a range, and we have developed ways to test hypotheses of what the true population mean might be. But all this is founded on the premise that we have some measure of the variance. The variance, and of course its square root, the standard deviation, are the foundation of all of our statistical tests. But the variance is more than just this. In its own right, the variance is an important measure of the data that we want to know. How close are all the data? How spread out? Take the obvious case of planning for the comfort of humans. This falls into the world called ergonomics. The study of human factors for such mundane activities is sitting down to dinner. How high should the seat be off the floor? And at what angle should the back of the chair lean, given that it's not adjustable? All this depends upon the average size of the people for whom the chair is designed. It also depends upon the culture in which the chair is to be used. At the turn of the last century, an architect and furniture designer produced many iconic designs that today would be rejected as uncomfortable. Perhaps the best example is the work of Charles Rennie Mackintosh, a Scottish Art Nouveau designer with a tremendous influence on future architects, including Frank Lloyd Wright. Mackintosh's design of chairs for Miss Cranston's Glasgow Argyle tea room is classic and beautiful. The backs, however, are 90 degrees to the seat and tower over the head of the sitter. Upon retrospect, for a customer base of Victorian ladies dressed in overflowing dresses and stiff confining corsets, this makes some sense. In modern times of casual, loose-fitting clothes, we find the chair discomforting. If the variance of the dress of the customers of Miss Cranston's were a bit different, these chairs would never have existed. I am reminded of a time my parents came to school for Parents' Day, and the uncomfortable time they had trying to sit in what was thought to be perfectly sized chair for my 5th grade class. The variance of the 5th graders mattered to the designers and those responsible for seating the various sizes of children as they grew and developed. And it is the variance that matters most. Pity the student who grows faster than his classmates and grows outside the variance that had been planned for. In short, the variance matters for all manner of everyday events, and this has been the topic of this unit. This unit introduced the F distribution and gave you the ability to test hypotheses concerning differences and variances. In this unit, you learned to formulate tests of hypothesis to test differences and variances. You also learned to conduct and interpret hypothesis tests for 2 variances and learned how to read the F table. It is always about the variation. Perhaps well stated, variety is the spice of life, if a bit banal.